Most people walk past ants their whole lives without learning a single thing from them. And I find that tragic because I have studied the great philosophers. I have read the ancient texts. I have sat with some of the most brilliant minds of the last century. And I will tell you plainly, the most complete philosophy of success I have ever encountered was not found in a university library. It was not handed to me by a mentor in a mahogany office. It was crawling across the ground at my feet. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, Jim, I came here for wisdom about life, about money, about building something that lasts, and you are going to talk to me about insects. Stay with me, because what I am about to share with you is not a cute little nature story. It is not a fable for children. It is a 4-part philosophy that, if you truly understand it, not just hear it, but understand it, will change the way you approach every single day for the rest of your life. I have shared this philosophy from stages around the world. I have returned to it more than any other parable in my entire career. And every time I tell it, I watch something shift in the room. I watch people lean forward. I watch them go quiet because somewhere inside them, they recognize the truth of it. The ant has 4-part philosophy, and together, those 4 parts contain everything. Everything you need to know about how to build a life of meaning, discipline, and extraordinary results. We are going to go through all 4, slowly, carefully, because this is not a message you rush. 3, and I promise you this, by the time we are finished, you will never look at an ant the same way again. Let me tell you how this philosophy first came to me. I was a young man, restless, ambitious in the vague, unfocused way that young people often are, wanting everything, understanding very little about how to actually get it. I had dreams that were large and habits that were small, and not in the right way. My mentor, the man who fundamentally altered the direction of my thinking, said something to me one afternoon that I never forgot. He said, Jim, the book of nature is open to everyone. Most people just never bother to read it. He was right. The natural world, you see, is not decoration. It is instruction. The seasons teach you. The tides teach you. The tree teaches you. It does not apologize for growing. It does not ask permission to reach toward the light. And the ant, the small, overlooked, underestimated ant, teaches you perhaps more than any of them. Now, the ant philosophy did not arrive to me in a single moment. It came together over years of observation and reflection. Years of asking the question my mentor taught me to ask her, what is this trying to show me? That is a powerful question, by the way. Most people walk through life asking, what is happening to me? The better question, the one that changes everything, is, what is this trying to show me? So I began to study the ant, not in a laboratory, not with instruments, simply by watching, by paying attention, by doing what my mentor told me, reading the book of nature with honest eyes. And what I found in that small creature was staggering. 4 principles, 4 disciplines, ding, 4 truths that if a man or woman would apply them faithfully to their own life, would produce results that most people only dream about. I want you to hold a thought as we begin. The ant does not have a coach. It does not have a motivational seminar to attend. It does not wait for the right circumstances, the right economy, or the right season of the year. It simply knows what it knows, and it does what it does every single day, without complaint and without exception. That is the first remarkable thing about the ant. And we have not even gotten to the philosophy yet. The first part of the ant philosophy is the simplest and the most important. The ant never quits. Watch an ant sometime. Put your finger in its path. It will go around. And put an obstacle in front of it. It will climb over or under or around, block its path entirely. It will find another path. It will look to the right. It will look to the left. It will go back and try a new angle. It will do this indefinitely, not for a minute, not for an hour, but for as long as it takes. The ant does not sit down in front of the obstacle and say, well, I tried. The ant does not call a meeting to discuss the obstacle. The ant does not post about the obstacle. It simply keeps moving. Now, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now, because honesty is the beginning of all real progress. How many times have you quit on something that mattered? Not the things that were right to abandon. There are things we should walk away from, but the things that truly mattered. The business you started and stopped. The book you were going to write. The health you were going to build. The skill you were going to master. How many times did the first obstacle become the last step? I will tell you what I have observed after decades of studying both failure and success. The difference between the two is rarely talent. It is rarely intelligence. It is rarely even hard work in the conventional sense. The primary difference is this: successful people kept going when unsuccessful people stopped. That is almost embarrassingly simple. But simple is not the same as easy. Easy to do and easy not to do. That is the formula. And the formula for failure is simply doing the easy thing, which is stopping. Every time the path gets difficult, the ant has never read that formula, but it lives the right side of it every single day. I want you to think about your current challenge, whatever it is, the thing you have been putting off, or the thing you started and lost momentum on. The ant's first lesson is this: there is always another path. Always. The goal does not move, ending only the road changes, and the ant never confuses a blocked road with a blocked destination. Never quit on the destination. Be willing to quit on the road and find a better one, but never quit on what you are ultimately trying to build. That is lesson one, and it is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Now we come to the second part of the ant philosophy, and this one requires a little more thought, because it is not just about persistence. It is about wisdom. The ant thinks winter and summer. Let me explain what I mean by that. In the middle of summer, when the food is plentiful, when the weather is warm, when everything is easy and comfortable, the ant is not relaxing. The ant is working, and not just working for today. The ant is working for winter. It is storing. It is preparing. It is thinking about the cold months while standing in the warm ones. And now think about what that means for you and me. Most people do the opposite. Most people think summer in summer. They enjoy the good times without preparing for the difficult ones. When the economy is strong, they spend freely. When the job is secure, they coast. When the health is good, they neglect it. And then winter comes, because winter always comes, and they are unprepared, and they are surprised, and they call it bad luck. It is not bad luck. It is the absence of winter thinking. I have watched this pattern play out in thousands of lives. I have seen people make extraordinary incomes and have nothing to show for it 10 years later because they thought summer in summer. And I have seen people with modest incomes build genuine wealth and security because they thought winter in summer. They prepared, they saved, they built reserves, they planned for the season they could not yet see. The question you must ask yourself is this: what is your winter? Not literally, but in your light is the difficult season that is coming. Because it is coming. It always comes. The health challenge, the economic downturn, the relationship difficulty, the professional setback. These are not possibilities. They are certainties. The only uncertainty is the timing. And the ant knows this. The ant does not hope winter will not come. It prepares as if winter is already on its way, because it is. And how different would your life look right now if 5 years ago you had thought winter in summer, if you had built the reserve, developed the skill, strengthened the relationship, invested in the asset, taken care of the body before the body demanded you take care of it. Be honest with yourself and drop a comment below. Are you currently thinking winter in summer? Or are you thinking summer in summer? I genuinely want to know. Varn in, because the answer to that question tells you more about your future than almost anything else. The ant does not need to be reminded, but we do, and that is why this lesson exists. Ding ding, think winter and summer. Prepare in the good times for the hard times. It is not pessimism, it is wisdom. There is a profound difference. The third part of the ant philosophy is the mirror of the second, and together they form something remarkable. If the second lesson is think winter in summer, prepare during good times, then the third lesson is this think summer in winter. During the hard times, think about the good times that are coming now. This is not wishful thinking. This is not naive optimism. This is something far more powerful and far more disciplined than that. The ant in the dead of winter does not abandon hope. It does not conclude that summer is gone forever. It does not curl up and surrender to the cold. It waits, it preserves, it moves when it can, and it knows with a certainty that requires no proof that summer is coming. Because summer always comes. This is the discipline of hope. And I want to be precise about that word, discipline. Because hope without discipline is just wishing. A hope with discipline is a strategy. I have met people who were in the winter of their lives. Financial winter, relational winter, professional winter. And the ones who came through, the ones who rebuilt, who recovered, who eventually thrived, all had one thing in common. They never stopped believing that summer was on its way. They did not pretend the winter was not real. They did not minimize the cold or the difficulty. They felt it fully, but they held alongside that difficulty the unshakable conviction that this was a season, not a sentence. Then that distinction, season, not a sentence, is one of the most important things I have ever said from a stage. And I want you to carry it with you. Ding, whatever you are going through right now. And some of you are going through something genuinely difficult. I know that. It is a season. Seasons change. They always have. Standing. They always will. The question is not whether summer is coming. The question is whether you will be standing when it arrives. Think summer and winter. Not because you are pretending, but because you know. You know that the principles you are applying, the disciplines you are maintaining, are seeds in frozen ground. And when the thaw comes, and it will come, those seeds will grow. The ant carries this knowledge without being taught it. It is written into its nature. But for you and me, we have to choose it. We have to deliberately, consciously decide to think summer and winter. And then that decision made in the hard moments, when it is most difficult to make, is one of the great acts of personal discipline available to a human being. And now we come to the fourth part, the one that ties everything together. The ant does all it can. During the summer, the ant does not work a little. It does not do what is comfortable, stop when it is tired, and save the rest for tomorrow. The ant works to its absolute maximum capacity. It carries what it can carry. It stores what it can store. It builds what it can build all day, every day, until the season changes. Now, here is the question I want to pose to you, and I want you to sit with it honestly, because the honest answer is where the real growth begins. Are you doing all you can? Not all you feel like doing. Not all that is convenient. Not all that is comfortable. All you can. Because there is a profound difference between those two things. And most people, if they are being truly honest, are operating somewhere well below their actual capacity, not because they are lazy in their hearts, but because they have allowed themselves to be lulled by the comfort of doing enough. Enough to keep the job, enough to pay the bills, enough to not fall behind. Enough, but the ant does not do enough. The ant does all it can. And that distinction between enough and all you cans is the distinction between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one. I have said this many times, and I will say it again. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And value is not a fixed thing. It grows. It compounds. It multiplies. But only if you are consistently bringing your full effort to the work. The ant does not calculate the minimum. It operates at the maximum every single day. Now, I am not telling you to destroy yourself. I am not telling you to ignore rest, ignore family, ignore the other dimensions of a well-designed life. Rest is part of doing all you can, because a depleted person cannot bring full value to anything. But there is a vast difference between genuine restorative rest and the slow, comfortable drift of doing less than you are capable of because doing more is hard. The ant knows the difference, and somewhere inside you, you do too. Do all you can with what you have, where you are, in this season, right now. That is lesson 4. And together with the first 3, it forms something complete. A philosophy of life that requires no advanced degree, no special circumstances, no lucky break. Ending just 4 disciplines applied faithfully, day after day, season after season. I want to pause here and tell you something about why this particular parable has stayed with me longer than any other I have ever used. I have told thousands of stories from the stage. I have used analogies, metaphors, parables. The 4 seasons, the sower and the seed, the tree and the soil. All of them serve a purpose. All of them illuminate something true. But the ant philosophy is different. And the reason it is different is this: it is complete. Most philosophies of success address one dimension. Work hard. Stay positive. Be persistent. Plain and ahead. These are all true, but they are partial truths. And a partial truth applied without the others can actually mislead you. Persistence without preparation is just stubborn suffering. Preparation without hope becomes paralysis. Hope without effort is merely fantasy. Effort without persistence collapses at the first obstacle. But take all 4 together. Never quit. Think winter in summer. Think summer in winter. Do all you can. And you have something whole. Something that addresses the full complexity of a human life lived across changing seasons and unpredictable circumstances. That is why I return to it. Not because it is simple, though it is. Not because it is memorable, though it is. But because it is complete. And completeness is rare. You can build an entire life on these 4 principles. I have watched people do exactly that. And I have watched men and women take this 4-part philosophy, not as an intellectual exercise, but as a practical daily discipline, and transform their circumstances over the course of years. Not overnight, never overnight, but steadily, the way the ant works, 1 load at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 season at a time, and the accumulation of that steady, principled effort, compounded over months and years, produces results that look, from the outside, like extraordinary luck or rare talent. But from the inside, they know the truth. It was the ant philosophy, applied faithfully, without exception. Now, if this message is speaking to you, if you feel something shifting as you hear these words, I want you to make sure you subscribe right here. Because this is the kind of depth we bring every single week. And what I am about to share next, the modern application of these 4 lessons, and the reason most people understand the philosophy but never live it, That is where this conversation gets truly important. Standing here is the problem I have observed in my years of teaching. People hear the ant philosophy and they nod, they feel it. They say, Wes, that is true? That makes sense. I understand that. And then they go back to their lives and they do not change a single thing. Understanding is not the same as living. And this gap, the gap between what we know and what we do, is where most human potential goes to die. Why does this happen? Why do people hear something true, feel the truth of it, and then fail to act on it? I have thought about this for a long time, and my answer is this: because the actions required by the ant philosophy are, in the words of my old formula, easy to do and easy not to do. Saving a little money today is easy to do and easy not to do. Maintaining your effort when the season is hard is easy to do and easy not to do. Keeping hope alive when the evidence around you suggests despair is easy to do and easy not to do. The ant has no such choice. It simply does. But you and I have the extraordinary and sometimes terrible gift of free will. We can choose. And because we can choose, we must choose deliberately, consciously, every single day. The formula for failure is not dramatic. It is not a single catastrophic decision. It is the accumulation of small, easy choices made in the wrong direction. A little less effort today, a little less preparation this week, a little less hope this month, a little less persistence this year. And then one day you look up and wonder how you ended up where you are. And the answer is you got there one small, easy, wrong choice at a time. The formula for success is the mirror image. A little more effort today, a little more preparation this week, a little more hope this month, a little more persistence this year. Being compounded over time. Those small right choices produce a life that most people only dream about. The ant does not understand compound interest, but it lives it. Every grain of food stored is one more unit of security. Every obstacle navigated is one more unit of capability. Every winter endured is one more season of proof that summer comes. You understand compound interest. The question is whether you will live it the way the ant does, not as a theory, but as a daily practice. That is the gap. And crossing it is the entire work of personal development. Let me bring lesson 1 into your life right now. Not as philosophy, as practice. You have something you are working toward. A goal, a project, a transformation. And at some point, perhaps recently, perhaps long ago, you hit an obstacle. And the obstacle is still there. And every day you do not address it, it grows a little larger in your mind until it does not look like an obstacle anymore. It looks like a wall. I want to tell you something. The wall is almost never as solid as it looks. The ant does not evaluate the wall and conclude it is impassable. The ant probes. It tests the edges. It tries the left side, then the right. It goes up. It goes under. It finds the crack. And it moves through. What is your wall right now? And when did you last genuinely probe it? Not just look at it and feel overwhelmed, but actually test its edges. Here is what I have found. Most walls that stop people are not made of stone. They are made of the accumulated weight of previous attempts that failed. The wall is not the obstacle itself. The wall is the memory of the last time the obstacle defeated you. And that is a very different problem, because you cannot knock down a memory with effort. You knock it down with a new attempt, a fresh angle, a different route. Never quit does not mean never change your approach. The ant changes its approach constantly. What it never changes is its commitment to the destination. Distinguish between your route and your destination. Be ruthlessly flexible about the rope. Be absolutely immovable about the destination. And if you have quit on something that still matters to you, if there is something you walked away from that you know in the quiet, honest part of yourself, then you should not have walked away from. Today is the day to pick it back up, not tomorrow, not when the circumstances are better, today. The ant does not wait for better circumstances. It works with the circumstances it has, and so must you. Let me ask you a direct question about lesson 2. What reserves are you building right now? Not just financial reserves, though those matter enormously, and I will come back to them, but all reserves. The reserve of health, the reserve of skill, the reserve of relationship, the reserve of knowledge, the reserve of character. Because here is the truth that most people resist. The time to build reserves is when you do not need them. When you do not need the money, that is when you save it. When you do not need the skill, that is when you develop it. When you do not need the relationship, that is when you invest in it. When you do not need the health habit, that is, you establish it. Waiting until you need the reserve to start building it is one of the most expensive mistakes a person can make. Because by the time you need it, it is too late to build it in time. The ant does not wait until the first frost to begin storing food. By the time the frost arrives, the work is done. The colony is prepared. The winter, when it comes, is met not with panic, but with patience. Now, I want to address something directly, because I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, Jim, I am barely keeping up with today. How am I supposed to think about winter? And I understand that. I genuinely do. There are seasons in life when the present demands everything you have, when survival is the only mode available. I am not dismissing that reality, but I want to challenge you on this. Is it truly the case that you have nothing left for preparation? Or is it the case that preparation has not been made a priority? Because the ant in the most abundant season does not consume everything it finds. It always stores a portion. Not all, a portion. The discipline of always setting aside a portion of your income, your time, your energy for the future is available to almost everyone. It simply requires making it non-negotiable. You make it non-negotiable the way the ant does, not when it is convenient. Always think winter and summer, build the reserve. And when the cold comes, and it will come, you will be standing on solid ground. I want to talk to you now about the most emotionally demanding of the 4 lessons. Thinking summer in winter is not a passive act. It is not simply telling yourself that things will get better. It is the active, disciplined practice of maintaining vision, maintaining direction, and maintaining effort during the seasons of life when everything around you seems to argue against it. And some of you are in that season right now. I have been in that season. I have known what it is to look at my circumstances and find very little evidence that summer was coming. I have known financial winter. I had known professional winter. I have known the winter of doubt when you question whether what you are building has any value at all. And I will tell you what kept me moving. It was not certainty. Certainty is a luxury that winter rarely provides. What kept me moving was the ant's wisdom, the knowledge that seasons change. Not the hope that they might, the knowledge that they do. They always do. Now, here is the discipline of thinking summer and winter. It is not about pretending the winter is not cold. It is about refusing to let the cold define your identity or determine your direction. In winter, the ant does not become a different ant. It is still an ant. It still knows what it is for. It still knows where the colony is. It still knows what summer looks like. The winter has not changed its nature. It has simply changed its circumstances. And the same must be true of you, Vinding, when you are in the winter of your life. When the business is struggling, when the relationship is strained, when the health is compromised, when the finances are frightening, you must hold on to the knowledge of who you are and what you are building. The winter has changed your circumstances. It has not changed your nature. Drop a comment below and tell me, what season are you in right now? Summer or winter? I want to know. Because the answer shapes everything about how you apply these lessons. Think summer in winter, not as a feeling, as a decision, a discipline, a practice you return to every morning when you wake up in the cold and choose deliberately to keep your eyes on the warmth that is coming. Ending, we come now to the final lesson. And I want to give it the weight it deserves. Do all you can. I have said this many times, but I want to go deeper than I usually do, because I think most people here do all you can, and they interpret it as a call to work more hours. And that is not quite what I mean. Doing all you can is not about hours. It is about bringing your full self, your full attention, your full creativity, your full commitment to the work that is in front of you. It is about refusing the habit of holding back, of giving 80% because 100% feels like too much to sustain. The ant does not give 80%. The ant gives what it has, all of it, every day. Now, I want to address the obvious question here because I know you are thinking it. Is that sustainable? Can a person truly give everything every day without burning out? And my answer is, it depends entirely on what everything means. For the maximum effort includes rest. Dending, the colony sleeps. The ant rests when the season demands rest. Doing all you can in winter looks different from doing all you can in summer. Maximum effort is not a fixed number of hours. It is the honest application of whatever capacity you genuinely have in this season at this moment. What I am asking you to resist is the habit of doing less than you are capable of leaving potential on the table, of going home at the end of the day knowing, in that honest, quiet part of yourself, that you held back. Standing, because here is what I have observed, then the people who consistently give their full effort, even when the results are slow in coming, are the people who are always ready when the season changes. When the opportunity arrives, when the door opens, they are ready because they have been practicing maximum effort all along. And the people who coasted, who gave enough, who held back, who saved their best for a more convenient moment, are not ready when the door opens. Because they have been practicing something else all along. You are always practicing something. The question is whether what you are practicing is preparing you for the life you want or preparing you for a life of quiet regret. Do all you can, with full attention, full commitment, then full honesty about what you are truly capable of. And let the seasons reward what the seasons always reward. Faithful, maximum applied across time. Now let us bring all four together, because this is where the philosophy becomes a life. Never quit. Think winter in summer. Think summer in winter. Do all you can. These are not four separate ideas. They are four facets of a single gem. And the light they cast, when you hold them together, illuminates everything. That the person who never quits but does not think winter in summer will persist into poverty. They will work hard and be surprised by every cold season because they never prepared for it. And persistence without preparation is noble but insufficient. But the person who thinks winter in summer but does not think summer in winter will prepare beautifully and then be destroyed by the first hard season, because they had no hope to sustain them. The preparation without hope collapses when the cold arrives. The person who thinks summer in winter, but does not do all they can, will be hopeful, but unproductive. They will feel good about the future, but not build toward it. Hope without effort is a beautiful dream that never becomes a life. And the person who does all they can but never quits, well, that person is very close. Ding ding, but without the seasonal wisdom, without knowing when to store and when to endure, their effort will be misdirected. Maximum effort aimed at the wrong season produces exhaustion, not results. But the person who takes all four, who never quits, who prepares in the good times, who maintains hope in the hard times, and who brings their full effort to every season, that person is building something extraordinary. Not quickly, not dramatically, but surely, the way the ant builds. One grain at a time, one season at a time, one discipline faithfully applied after another. Standing, I want to ask you one final question. Standing, and I want you to take it seriously, because it is the question that determines whether this message changes something in your life or simply passes through it. Standing, which of the four lessons is hardest for you right now? Not in general, right now. In this season of your life. Is it never quit? Have you lost your persistence on something that still matters? Is it think winter in summer? Are you consuming everything without building a reserve? Is it think summer in winter? Are you in a cold season and struggling to hold on to the vision of warmth? Or is it do all you can? Do you know in the honest part of yourself that you are holding back? Tell me in the comments. Not because it is a performance. But because naming the lesson you most need is the first act of applying it. The ant does not reflect on its philosophy, it simply lives it. But you and I are human beings, and we have the gift and the burden of self-awareness. Use it. Name the lesson. Then begin. Because here is what I know after a lifetime of studying success and studying failure and studying the extraordinary and humbling example of the small creatures that carry more than their weight every single day without complaint. Standing in the philosophy is complete. The ant has encoded it in its nature. And now it is yours. Never quit. Think winter in summer. Think summer in winter. Do all you can. That is the whole of it. That is the life. And if you know someone who is in the winter of their life right now, someone who needs to hear that summer is coming, that the season will change, that there is a philosophy available to them that will carry them through, send them this video right now. That is not a small thing. That may be the most important thing you do today. If you have stayed with me through all four lessons, if you have genuinely wrestled with these ideas and felt the truth of them, then you are already operating differently from most people. You are thinking, you are reflecting, you are asking the honest questions. That is not nothing. That is the beginning. This is the kind of depth we bring to every single message on this channel. Not surface level inspiration, but the kind of philosophical grounding that actually changes how you see and how you live. That if that is what you are looking for, subscribe right here, because there is more of this waiting for you. And you do not want to miss it. You walked past ants your whole life. Now you know what they were trying to tell you. Take the four lessons. Never quit. Think winter in summer. Think summer in winter. Do all you can. And build your life on them one season at a time. Thanks for being here. The end screen has more. Go deeper there. Pick the video on the end screen that calls to you. And keep going.